I was asked to talk about creating this light fixture. And this was supplied as a quick rendering, but I'm going to go through the steps that I would take to build this. And so here's my version. I've added a couple pieces up here, but it's just an assembly of parts. You know, if you break something like this down into pieces, it's just pieces and parts stuck together in an orderly way. You need these rings. You need these little rod pieces, and here's a one right here. And these pieces up here, these are just solids. These rings are moldings, and this rod here is a solid, and it's got I put a little round piece on the top and bottom. So to create that molding, I used a stacked molding, and these blue lines are just construction lines. They're on a locked I've got a CAD locked layer here, and so you can't select them, but you can snap to them. And so a lot of times I find it easy to just do a quick layout using these construction lines, and that gives you guidelines that make creating your molding profile easier, because you don't need to use dimensions. You can just snap to the points. And so once you've got your moldings laid out, you just select them like that, add stacked molding. Here it is over here. And I'm going to grab a circle and we'll convert it to a molding polyline. Say OK. I'm going to, in selected arc, I'm going to uncheck automatic facet angle. I'm going to make that 1. And that'll just smooth the curve out. If you don't do that, the curve will be jagged or segmented. And then we'll go to moldings, add new. Let's see if we can find that stacked molding. There it is. Okay. So it adds all of the moldings, and you can still modify all this stuff. You can change these variables or these numbers here, however you want them. You can add, if you want to add an additional molding to this molding line, you can do that too. So I'm just going to uncheck this, say OK, and then let's look. And there's the rings. So it took longer to lay out those construction lines than it did to create this. So that goes pretty quick and easy. So I'm just going to delete that. And then this rod, go up here and grab a cylinder. I'll make the radius 1/8 inch. Make it 12 inches tall. Sometimes I make these bigger. It seems like Chief works with larger things easier, but this one I'm going to do make this the same 1/8 inch radius. I'm going to copy paste in place, and Drag another one down. Now, you can't pick up, there's no center, unfortunately, on these things. You can pick up a center here, like that. So this one, I'm going to center that way, and then center that way. Do the same thing with this one. I'm going to make this one 12 inches. They're set at the center horizontally is set at 0 on these. So let's look at that in 3D. So there's our little rod. And here's the one I just made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a little sphere. You can see that. And I'm going to select the rod part. And I'm going to union those together. Come down here and do the same thing. Select both of those, union those two together. And then I'm going to select that and convert to a symbol. I'm just going to choose a geometric shape. That's probably good enough. Give it a name. Say OK. I don't think there's anything I need to change in here, so I'm just going to say OK. And there it is. So back over here in plan. I'm going to draw out another circle. And this circle we're going to convert to a polyline distribution path. And then I'm going to select the heck did I call that? I need to clean up my I'm going to select that guy, say OK. I'm going to make this, let's do 7 of these. Say OK. And then there's your rods. So I'll convert this to a molding polyline, say OK. Choose the stack molding, say OK. I think I want to raise this 1/8 of an inch. And can't forget to do that. Let's go over here to standard view. So it looks like I need to adjust something. These rods are showing through. They're not on this one. Alright, let's see if I can pick up the center. I'm gonna put a point there. Let's see, I'm going to make this about 10 inches. By 1/8. And I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch thick. And we're going to finish for the top. 12 1/8. And I think I can pick up that right there. And then I'll shorten this up a little bit. Transform, replicate. I want to make 2 copies. I'm going to rotate 120 degrees. About current point. Okay. And so there's our little bracket. And then putting in I figure there'd be something like this to hang the light on. I don't have any idea what kind of lighting this thing had inside it, but that's my moldings. Hit tab for that. Let's see if I can, yeah, that's what I thought. So that move the rods in just a little bit, probably too much. Anyway, that's the gist of it. If you learn the tools and then practice with them a little bit, things like this are not too bad. Now, I wouldn't do a fancy chandelier probably. You know, there's a lot of light fixtures that would have odd shapes. That I wouldn't do. But I do have a couple of videos that talk about faces. Like doing a vase like this. Let's see here. Yeah, this shows how you can use a face. You can revolve a face around things and create things like this vase with an open center. This one shows how you can, using a face and revolving it to create things like this newel that's cut out like you would do with a lathe. So there's all kinds of ways you can use Chief to do things. But something like SketchUp or some of the other modeling programs would probably be better for a lot of things. But like I said, Chief is capable of doing a lot of things. You just have to know how to use it.